age where it seems like there are domes everywhere, there is still only one original, the Houston Astrodome. And Supertrax takes you inside for the huge 7,200-pound multi-engine super-modified tractors. The pulling competition in the Astrodome year in and year out has packed the house and made for some of the most exciting action in U.S. Hot Rod Association history. We expect no less today. The big tractors are ready to go, and we start with the Allison aircraft engine-powered new and improved Rambunctious. This is Milt Bergman from Fort Recovery, Ohio, to put down the first pull of the day on Supertrax. A little past the 250 mark, but not a full pull. Let's look at it again on the replay as Milt Bergman puts down a good shot of 263.49. 263.49. That is the distance to beat from Milt Bergman and the new and improved Rambunctious. Here's Ken Popham. This is the Outlaw tractor out of Floresville, Texas. Man, that is an expensive run for Popham. Already at a disadvantage with only two engines, battling guys who have 4 and 5 engine combos, and you can see those two engines were not working well. The explosion at the end tells the story, and it's a rough day at the office for Popham and Outlaw. 229.22 and some expensive damage. 3-engine combination now for the Texas Flash. Don Nelson up out of Cat Springs, Texas. Not able to hit the 300-foot mark, but it does appear we may have a new leader. Don Nelson and the Texas Flash getting everything he can on the throttle, pulling it as far as he can down the Astrodome track, and indeed he has taken the lead at 266.87 feet. Now, Robert Elliott and the Fancy Farmer coming at us out of Mayfield, Kentucky. Looks like it takes 4 engines to get it done in Houston. The 4-engine combination of Robert Elliott, the Fancy Farmer, hauls it out of here. It's a full pull, and Robert Elliott is the new leader. Can anybody force him to a pull-off? Probably, because some of the world's best are coming up, like this guy, John Powell, and a very, very powerful machine out of Apex, North Carolina. He just calls it the Powell pulling machine. 4 engines and a ton of horsepower. And he's out of here. John Powell, and Powell Pulling has forced a pull-off. Beautiful run for John and the team from Apex, North Carolina. Well, we now have 2 who have taken it past the 300-foot mark. Let's see if John Heilemann and Ohio Gold can become the 3rd to do so. Now you can see Heilemann running 5 engines, 2 toward the front, 1 on each side, and the 5th engine sits up back toward the driver. And he's got plenty to spare. Ohio Gold with yet another full pull in Houston. Boy, it didn't even look like John had to take the throttle all the way down. Nice and easy, but it'll be tougher when they reweight the sled for the pull-off. Next up, Dwayne Bergman and Rambunctious 2 out of Fort Recovery, Ohio. He's got to get a full pull to join the pull-off. Allison aircraft engine power. Not enough to fly out of the Astrodome, as Rambunctious 2 comes up a bit short. The distance, 231.46 feet, 231 and change for Dwayne Bergman and Rambunctious 2 out of Fort Recovery, Ohio. Next up, Dave Walsh, the Irish challenger out of Mauston, Wisconsin. He needs a full pull. There are already 3 who have taken it out of here, and he's a prime candidate to be the 4th. Oh, look out. He had to let off the throttle. Still, he's coming on. An incredible run for the Irish challenger as he actually let off the throttle and still had enough power to take it out the other end. That was awesome. The Irish challenger actually had enough to let off the throttle when he got that big bounce and still record a full pull. So now we have 4 who have made it to the pull-off, and our final competitor would love to make it a 5-some. It's Jim Brockman and Kodiak In-Laws and Outlaws. Yes, indeed. He has taken it out of the Astrodome. Jim Brockman will join the pull-off field. That includes the Irish Challenger, the Fancy Farmer, Powell Pulling, and Ohio Gold. It's a tractor all-star pull-off coming up a little bit later on Super Tracks. You can see him right there. Robert Elliott, John Powell, John Heilemann, Dave Walsh, and Jim Brockman all recording full pulls. Don Nelson will then finish 6th, followed by the Rambunctious gang in the 7th and 8th spot, and the Outlaw with some expensive breakage rounds out the field in Houston. It's time to settle matters between 5 of the world's top tractor pulling superstars. They will go now into the pull-off to try and take the championship in the prestigious Houston Astrodome Nationals. We're ready for the pull-off, and those 5 will come at you right now. Robert Elliott will be first up. The Fancy Farmer is out of Mayfield, Kentucky, and he'll set down the distance that the others will try to beat. You can see right there on that pull just how much heavier this sled is. This sled is now a bear. And Robert Elliott, with a lot of bounces, is only able to get it close to the 200-foot mark. It'll be 196.21. That is the distance to beat. Robert Elliott is now the leader. But John Powell will come up next. You can see that right hand fixed to the throttle, and he is ready to lay the hammer down. The Powell pulling tractor out of Apex, North Carolina. The 250-foot mark despite the additional weight. John Powell has laid down a shot that they're going to have to go some to beat. The distance, 264.78. John Powell and Powell Pulling has laid down something that they're really going to have to rear back and draw on that extra reserve to get past. But certainly everybody that's still to come has the caliber tractor to go by it. The first one to try it is John Heilemann and Ohio Gold. Not going to happen for Heilemann as he took it past the 200-foot mark, but that was it. The distance is 217.42, 217.42 for John Heilemann out of Brockford, Ohio, and Ohio Gold. 2 more to go. Your leader right now is John Powell, but here comes Dave Walsh and the Irish Challenger. And Walsh has been having one of those years where every night he hits the arena, he has got to be considered the favorite. Let's see if he's got enough to win it here in Houston. To the naked eye that he's got it. That mark, that last cone that you saw at the bottom of your screen was marking the distance for John Powell. And indeed, the Irish Challenger has taken the lead. It's a pull of 272.25 feet, 272.25. And Dave Walsh is the new leader with 1 more to go in the pull-off. It's Jim Brockman and the Kodiak In-Laws and Outlaws. He's got to go a long way to take the win in Houston. Let's see if he can get it done. It's a good pole, but it took a great one to win it, as Brockman will come up around the 250-foot mark. Let's make it 251.03. That should land him safely in third, but your winner will be Dave Walsh, the Irish challenger out of Boston, Wisconsin, whips into Houston and comes away as the Astrodome champion. The Irish challenger wins it over Powell Poling by about 8 feet. Then it's the Kodiak In-Laws and Outlaws, Ohio Gold, and the Fancy Farmer.